Alright, guys. Alright, so welcome to the stream. If you guys are watching this in the future, then you will hear this. But, today we are talking about the Florida and Michigan school shootings and what should be done, what can be done in the future to prevent these things. And, just the general repercussions of what these people should get. I'd like to welcome Hobo to the stream. So, Hobo, say hello.
Hello.
And currently he's the only guy we have on because Mira decided to bail out on us. So I'm going to minimize this. Alright. Now we can get started. So let's first talk about what the repercussions of these things should be. So like what should the shooter get as like punishment, things like that. Like let's start with that, Hobo.
Okay. So what is your opinion?
My personal opinion is, well, these people at this point have become like so unafraid of death. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they expect death. So you gotta give them something a little bit more than that. This is my own personal opinion. I don't expect anybody to agree with me on this because all those liberals can always like getting so worked up. You can't do capital torture. Blah blah blah. It's Mira's personal opinion also, but But you gotta give them something worse than death, so they don't, come back in the future thinking, oh, so other people come in the future and are like, yeah, well, the only other guy only got death, so what are they gonna do to me that's so bad compared to death? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you don't give them enough of a punishment, then they're gonna be like, oh well, I don't fear death. Why should I care if I shoot up a school? Is there anything that any like views that you have on that?
Maybe during this punishment, at least find out why they did it. Like
Yeah. Like mental health is a big part of this. So, working on mental health is a big thing that should be done. But yeah, sometimes it doesn't always work that well. The mental health. Some people have mental health issues to the point where you can't be solved. Like some people have chronic depression, which is sometimes can be kind. I don't know if they genetically can get passed down. I'm not really an expert in psychology. You know what I mean? But usually, families with history of depression and their kids get depressed a lot may have a history of it. Like for example, I have a cousin his parents struggled with depression. He himself is now like the single most depressed person you can never think of, and he kind of picks up on that from his parents, or used to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, what do you think could be done for the mental health issues though? Like, do you think we should be taught? What? Yeah, I mean, like, I think this needs to go deeper, like into the schools, like according to. Oh, I hate not having a G or F key. This is great. Half my keyboard's broken. Yeah, but according to like certain websites, there's a lot more that needs to be done. Like these are there's plenty of victims. I think there are like 17 victims in this. Yeah, 17 people in the Florida shooting and 2 confirmed so far in the shooting at I think it was Central Michigan University. But there's a lot of issues around that. But there's always issues with that. School. Some people don't think the school resource officer there did enough at the school for Florida. Some say he even like ran away from the situation. Like, what is your opinion on like that kind of stuff? Like, resource officers not doing their job correctly? Because or even Trump, I like said some things about that. Nope, he's gone to what AFK. Do 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 do. Gone to what AFK. Wee. Do 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 do. Bum bum bum. I don't care about you, CNN. Just wanted to look you up for a reference. Thank you. We'll wait till Hobo gets back to continue with that topic. Just, you know, getting in. Okay.
For people that don't do their jobs.
Like specifically with the resource officers, Trump like called out the resource officers and in general. Like there are some that are okay, but like generally he called out the one that was in Florida because that guy apparently ran from the scene, which. By the way, if you're a resource officer and you run from the scene, that's just a douchey thing to do, especially when there's a school shooting. I don't usually say things like this. This is a little bit weird and out of context, but that's just wrong. You know what I mean? You basically just you might have cost the kids a few their lives. Although you never know. Just maybe he would have just got shot too, but you know. Either way, he should have done something. He should have done his job.
Yeah.
And hopefully, if something like that happens at any school, that those resource officers do what they're supposed to do. Now, one big thing is people have been saying that a main thing is that race has a lot to play in it. But today we saw something out of the ordinary. In Michigan, there was a black school shooter, which does not happen that often. What is your opinion on that? Does race personally have something to play in that?
I don't think it's race that makes people shoot.
Yeah, but there are a lot of people that say it's only white kids, but I'm like, yeah, well, today we had something completely different happen, so I don't know about that. But yeah, it's just stupid the way people can generalize school shootings like that. But for me, anything can be an issue. You never know. I just don't personally believe that race has anything to do with this.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's always different statistics that go in every kid's mind. Different ticks, different thought process in every depressed person, every one of these kids that shoots up these schools. But
yeah, I don't think it's race that matters.
Yeah, there are some. Yeah, but there are some people. There are some people that believe it's up to race, which I personally believe is stupid. Personally, if it was up to race, then you would only see white people shooting up. But no, you don't. But another big thing is the way that people carry themselves is changing has been changing over the generations. Like, if you didn't see that many school shootings like pre-1980s, even though there were guns. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's always been guns. There's never been a lack of them, especially in America. If anything, there's less guns than there were before. Less than guns than there were in the 1930s.
I'm pretty sure there's more guns in America than people.
Yes, there are more guns than people in America, and there are also more guns in Switzerland than America than people in or more guns than people in Switzerland, but by law, Swiss people are all trained for the military once they become 18, I think, for like a week. They're all trained to use their guns. It was something weird, like because in direct democracy is a thing in Switzerland, so it's just weird. Switzerland's just a weird country in general, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the Swiss will be Swiss.
Armed neutrality. Gotta defend ourselves, but not invade anybody else. But no, the big unfortunate thing about a lot of this is that this will happen again. There's no debating against that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially if there isn't anything being done.
Yeah, and my big thing is something needs to change when it comes to mental health. The way mental health is treated in public schools. I mean, this happened at a university, but odds are, or the one today happened at a university, but odds are, there was some connection that happened midway through his high school years, to where he started thinking about this kind of stuff. Because these thoughts don't come to you right away. Like there's no like one like boom, you switch. Saying I'm going to shoot up a school, but yesterday I didn't feel like I was going to do that. You feel depressed. You feel depressed for a long time, and then you start thinking this. You don't go straight into thinking that, hey, I'm going to shoot up a school. That's not normal. I mean, if you do think like that, then there's some magical disorder that I want to know about. Just simply so we can try to prevent it, but it's not a thing. But yeah, generally there isn't anything like that. But at this point, you don't know. You know what I mean? I'm just kidding. But yeah, it gets weird sometimes. But generally, what do you think the FBI should do? Because that was another big thing that people have been touching on. Is the FBI got a tip about this guy a long time beforehand?
I feel like they should look at certain words.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think they already do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, like, if shoot and school is in, like, one sentence, I feel like they should.
Well, some kids, like, the web culture, is just, oh, I'm gonna shoot up my school, and they don't mean it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're just like messing around, but you got to be able to tell the difference between that if they're.
But they put that kid on a caution list.
Yeah, I think if somebody's on a caution list, they shouldn't be allowed near a school. I mean, like especially if they have like a school shooter kind of caution list. Like if they're on like they've done like minor crimes like thieving and things like that. I could honestly care less, but if it's like, I want to shoot up a school, yeah, you need to keep them away from a school, That should be pretty self-explanatory, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They shouldn't be allowed near a school. If they get seen near a school, they should be arrested at that time. But my big thing is this man literally walked the one in I don't know about the one about the Michigan one, because there's not many details on that so far. But the one at the Florida shooting just literally walked into a school with an AR. How do you get into a school with an AR and not have somebody notice? And apparently he got an Uber and walked into the Uber, and I'm like, how does the Uber driver not? I don't know. Like, I would get not saying anything, but like, I personally would like just drive off the side of a bridge if I had somebody with an AR in the back of my car trying to shoot up a school. You know what I mean?
Well,
there's some sort of like.
Concealed, or was it just?
Well, I mean, how do you keep an AR-15 concealed though? Like, that's the big. Like, do you put it in a backpack and say, "Oh, I'm late for school"? Like, what? Because usually those people have like suspicion. Yeah, but you can't go in. You can't like go in like not acting suspicious when you're about to shoot up a school, though. Like, those people aren't sane, so like you'd expect they would go and like act a little bit weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's got to be something wrong with them. Like, the Uber driver should have picked up on that. Same with, I don't know, the front security guards to the to the school. Like, that's another big one. Like, that I don't get. Like that. Like, how did the security guards not notice him? But like they said, one of the resource officers was not doing their job correctly. But still, like, how do you not notice that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just to let it fly past.
Like, it's just crazy. Like, there were a lot of things that went wrong in that. But you see, also one big thing is people call in like fake threats. Don't do that. Like, people don't do that. I don't care how funny you think it is. It's retarded, and you can get arrested. First off, it gets in the way of people going to school and getting done with their high school years. Which personally, I know for a fact that I don't want to have to worry about getting shot at school when I just want to get in, get out. And now it's a bit not even bigger issue of them being in high school. Now there's a college shooter. You know what I mean? Now there's a college shooter, so people are going to be like more worried about just simply going to school in general could be a life-threatening ordeal, which it should never be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
You should never have to go to school and think, oh, I might die today. I mean,
And that's a sick feeling to have.
like the day after the Florida shooting, I went to school and I'm like, well, I know I go to a mainly black school and this isn't as likely, but I sure don't feel like fully safe. And then after this shooting, I don't know who to trust at this point, because anybody could be a school shooter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Jerry from the football team could pick up an AR and just shoot up a bunch of people. Sorry for anybody named Jerry who's on the football team, but I just said a random name, so. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't have to be somebody that generally looks depressed. Somebody that generally is like, stereotypical school shooter. But even if there is a lot of people that do look like that and shoot up schools, anybody could do it. I think this guy that walked in to the Michigan thing today was like a middle-aged, so far from what I know, he was either a black student or a like middle-aged black man. Just walked in the school, fired a few shots, killed, so far what's confirmed, 2 people. Actually, I think it was the dorms that they walked into, but still. It's either that or he woke up in the dorms and shot shot people, but either way, it's just crazy. Like, you never know who could do it. That's the main issue, is like, especially with the FBI, they can't look into a lot of these things correctly, you know what I mean?
Yeah, especially if they don't like say anything on the web or like.
Yeah, I mean, like the guy in Florida he had a lot of dirt behind him. Like, that could have easily been prevented. Like, I don't know if there's anything even on the guy from. Yeah, I don't even know if there's anything on the guy for the Michigan shooting. They haven't released much information yet, but I have looked into it. Suspect at shooting of Central Michigan University. Live updates. Suspect at large. I don't know if that's still accurate, but he was at large earlier. And I don't even know if they ever found the guy. Like, it's currently from the CNN thing. It doesn't look like it. I'm quoting something from CNN and which was quoted from a student. So this is fourth party. So it's scary thinking about how easy a shooter can come into a college campus anywhere. A classroom, a library, there's so much easy access. Brian. By Brian. Some guy named Brian, but which that itself is scary. Oh, Haley Bryan. Okay, so female student there, but still. And there were 23,000 kids at the school. That could have easily gone a lot worse in the Michigan shooting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't even know if it was like him wanting to kill mass. He might have just gone after two different people. For all I know so far, but there's really nothing. I don't think he in any way he was like not he was in anybody you would expect to come and shoot up a school. You know what I mean? Or come shoot two people in the school. And even the school was quick. I like the school's response for the Michigan shooting because the school tweeted out to its students, "Take cover, stay in place," like as it was going on. Because some people heard gunshots and went to a school official. From what I know so far. There's, like you said, there's not much information on the Michigan shooting, but a lot of that so far. But back to the Florida shooting. There was also a lot of criticism of how the school kind of like didn't question the fact that a fire alarm was pulled off. Like nobody did that. Like nobody investigated the supposed fire. So every kid just ran outside of like the freshman area, and then I think, from what I know, the shooter just shot a few shots into the crowd, and then they run back inside. From what I know so far, you know what I mean? From what I know, that's what I got from it. But there were mixed accounts of different things. I can't imagine being the police officer, the FBI officer that has to look into this. You know what I mean, Hubbo?
Yeah.
Like just so much scattered information because these are kids. You know what I mean? You're not gonna get the same story out of every single kid in that room. One kid's gonna say, "Oh, this happened, and this happened," because that's what happened from their perspective, and they're not gonna change it because that's what kids are. It's just like they think of one thing, and then that's what happened. Like I'm not gonna say, "Oh, my friend over here got tripped up," because you're not worrying about other people when you're doing that. You know what I mean? Like there are very few people that are worried about anybody but themselves when that shooting happens. So you're not gonna get a good quality perspective off of a student. It's just gonna be like, oh, this happened, but it's gonna be really like broken up and like, yeah, because especially if you interviewed them the day of, it's traumatizing. You know what I mean? They're not gonna be able to speak correctly. Yeah. An emotion, regardless of whether it should be present or not, it gets in the way. Like I don't blame them for being emotional, but at the same time, it can make the story change a bit. It can make the story overcomplicated also, which is not what they usually need in an investigation. Okay, so. At a midday press conference, they said the school was supposedly safe, or the campus was safe. Two individuals by the confirmation of the school were fatally shot at the Michigan shooting today. There's no additional injuries, and the suspect is supposedly at 9:53 a.m. was still at large, but that was the account at 9:53. But either way, that's still crazy.
Yeah.
Can you imagine waking up in your dorm and hearing gunshots and then not wondering if you're gonna get out of there alive?
Yeah.
Because the shooting happened in the dorm. Odds are some of those kids were still asleep. I don't know if this guy had a school shooter motive or just get revenge on the two guys that were messing with him. Because I'm assuming it's a male dorm because this was a male shooter. So for all we know, those two could have been bullying him, and he just wanted to just pop, get it over with. But I don't get turning to like violence at that kind of macerate. Like, why would you kill somebody? That's just not something that would ever go through my mind. You know what I mean? Like, you would have to kill my mother before I even think of, like, even killing her or killing one of my family members in general. But you know what I mean?
You'd have to have so much hate and like bitterness towards those people.
Well, I mean, yeah, but like I said, for me to want to kill someone, and just to kill the specific person that did these things, you would have to literally kill one of my family members. I couldn't just do it because like, oh no, he called me stupid. Like, I could care less about that kind of like usually these people are triggered by even the most minor things. Like I also don't think people with like mental health issues should be put in classrooms where they can be like, because people bully people with mental health issues. That's the main issue. You know what I mean? Like there are kids at my school that bully the Down syndrome kids. It's like, what are you doing? These kids are helpless. Like, if you're gonna talk shit on somebody, talk shit on somebody that can talk shit back. You know what I mean? Like, the Down syndrome kid won't beat your ass because you called him stupid. He's gonna come to school with an AR, being like, "You guys," but no, but people meant, like, even if they have anger issues, why would you do that? Or like, you gonna laugh as you watch his, like, like, walks out flipping a desk? That's stupid. Just watch him come to school the next day with an AR-15 and shoot you. Like, you know what I mean? It's addressing bullying and addressing the way mental health should be treated at schools. Personally, like I said, I don't believe like kids with mental health issues should be put in the same room as kids with sane minds. Not for a reason of discriminating against mental ill people, just because they just don't mix right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like I know kids that have like weird tics, like they'll go like a bunch of times over and over in class. And they get made fun of, and it's not even that bad for them. You know what I mean? They're not too badly autistic. They just have tics. And they're like he has Tourette's and things like that. Like, Tourette's is not something to play with either. Because people like my sister has a minor case of Tourette's, and she just does a little click sound with the back of her throat. And yes, it does get very annoying at sometimes, but it's addressable. She can stop doing it if she gets off like like her ADHD meds and things like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes medications can also be an issue here, because some medications make people have depression, things like that. Sometimes giving a teenager a depression medicine is not necessarily the best way to solve an issue, because the kids with depression can be negatively affected by depression medicine itself.
Yeah. And like you said, medicine doesn't always solve that, what it's trying to solve.
Well, they don't. It just depends on the person. Like, if I have like, if it's like, if some people are reacting. I think it was a California-based survey that did this. But people of different, but like even different ethnicities react differently to like the mental effects of marijuana. Like, everyone reacts differently to marijuana. Ethnicity plays a small part, but also the major thing that plays a part in it is just somebody's general mental health, general activity of the brain, their health and diet in general affects their mind. It's like everything plays into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plays into the way medication, even and drugs, just affect people. I mean, it's nothing to play with. Like, but when you see doctors just prescribing drugs for absolutely no reason at all, it just gets out of hand. Like, you hear about what the VA doctors do with veterans, it just gets weird. You know what I mean? Like, the VA doctors will prescribe like opioids out of nowhere, and opioids are some of the most powerful drugs in the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
because heroin is an opioid. So, and heroin's one of the most powerful drugs in the world. And there's more. I mean, well, I think there's you that stated that moose tranquilizer is an opioid too, or somebody said that. And if you can take down a moose, it should not be prescribed to our veterans for PTSD issues. The easiest way to solve these the depression issues is or mental health related issues is, I don't know, maybe talk to them, get a therapist, because sometimes therapists don't help, but a lot of times just having somebody listen to your issues can definitely help.
Or at least put them in a group together.
Yeah, I mean,
so then they can talk with each other.
But starting at opioids is a very, very big leap. From what I've heard, marijuana can help these people, help people with PTSD, veterans especially. Personally, I don't think you should first off jump straight to drugs regardless, but marijuana is definitely better than opioids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And opioids are legal in most states, which is the strange part. Prescribing medical opioids is perfectly legal, and the VA does it. It's in their federal organization. Yet they can't prescribe marijuana, or they can't even but opioids to marijuana, there's a big difference there. One's a whole lot more powerful than the other. Marijuana has about the effect of alcohol, you know what I mean? And alcohol is fully legal, so. But what's your opinion on the use of marijuana for medical things?
Yeah, like you said, I don't think they should jump straight to drugs first.
Yeah, but opioids especially.
Yeah.
If you want to give veterans opioids, you might as well just be giving them heroin at that point. I mean, you shouldn't give them heroin. You shouldn't give them opioids in general, even if they are slightly less powerful than heroin. You're still comparing it, able to compare it to heroin. Then it's not supposed to be given to our veterans. And also, those opioids cost so much, and usually the veteran has to either pay, they get major discounts on it, but still, even that, for a person who can barely get a job because they can barely leave their house without having flashbacks. that can be a big issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just the payment of it. It's the VA has not been a useful company or just useful thing in many years, because most VA doctors will just go, "Oh, you have PTSD? Here's some opioids." It's like, what? If I walked into my doctor's office right now and said I wanted opioids, they wouldn't give it to me. They wouldn't write me a prescription for it, even if I was 18 or 21. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They'd be like, "Why do you need it? Do you actually have PTSD?" And they're not going to just give you opioids because you say, "Oh yeah, I have PTSD." They're gonna consult the therapist first, and they're also gonna look in your drug use history because you had just straight up asked for opioids. But no, if I say walk in and say my doctors say I have PTSD, they're not gonna go, "Oh well, you need opioids." "Oh, I have depression. Let me get opioids." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know how we got on VA doctors, but I just get on rants sometimes.
Yeah, so let's jump back to school discussion.
Oh, you school shootings? Ooh, such a day.
Yeah, what a great topic to jump back to.
Yeah. But no, I just want to mention real quick while we're still only 35 minutes into our debate that these are people's lives. I'm not taking this lightly. When I talk about this, I'm not thinking when I say I don't care for gun control, even though this happened, it's because personally I don't think gun control would have helped somebody that has mental health issues. If they couldn't get a gun, they would just stab people to death. You know what I mean? And trust me, a knife is just effective as a weapon, if not more effective than a gun sometimes. If they can run faster than you with a knife, then you're dead. And especially if they know where to strike you. Like with a gun, you actually have to aim it. Like I can get banning bump stocks. Bump stocks are a little excessive to be used at that level. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you don't need a bump stock for hunting, although it would. I mean, if a bear's running at you, then I bet you would hope for a bump stock. But you know, like you know, like I mean, it's not essential. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not essential in like everyday.
Nuts.
And we're having a serious conversation right now about school shootings, so please.
Oh.
No miming. We're doing a debate that's live streamed. So say hello to YouTube Inverted. This is Inverted everybody, or as we call them, the liberal scum. I mean, what? No, I'm just kidding. We're accepting of all people in this live stream. I don't care what your political affiliation is. You can always join.
Oh, okay.
Also, my only rule is to minimize your background noise. That's why I'm doing this on a Friday, so that you don't hear my mom talking to me while I'm doing this. No, but seriously, my big thing is banning bump stocks probably won't help. Like, or not banning bump stocks, banning guns in general probably won't help school shootings, or just school-related violence actions, because you know you can still bring a knife to school. Like, knives first off can be concealed easier. And second off, they can also be a whole lot deadlier of a weapon if used in the incorrect way. But I'm not gonna say correct way because that would be wrong.
And if you still want to buy a gun, you could always go like on the dark web.
Yeah, there's always ways. There's always ways.
Exactly.
Like the state of New York does not need people running around with AR-15s because half the state's not even like wilderness. Most of the people in the state live in New York City.
Exactly.
Or you can do something better and ban it by district, because like if you ban a gun in like the New York districts, like then that makes sense. If you ban a gun out in the middle of Alaska, people are gonna get people are gonna get angry because it's essential to their lifestyle, and B, it's just gonna be stupid because why would you ban that there? So what does that have to do with an AR-15, which is the main rifle that people have been shitting on? And second off, what is a bird hunting rifle gonna have to do anything with with anything? You know what I mean?
You aren't gonna bring a shotgun to shoot up a school.
I mean, even if you did, you'd miss half the shots anyway because the 12 gauge is so inaccurate.
That's not the best thing if you want accuracy.
Yeah, I'm like that's like even then you only use 20 gauge to shoot birds, so it's honestly hard to find a 12 gauge unless it's like near a place where they commonly do clay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like 20 gauges are normally sold in like hunting stores and things like that because 20 gauges are what you use for big birds. And for small birds, you usually use like basically like slugs because and a slug is far more lethal than the scatter shot because you'll actually hit something with it. But at the same time, a slug is also is like you also have to reload the shotgun. You're not going to get an opportunity to reload a shotgun midway through you trying to shoot up a school. It's not even. I mean, I'm not saying that you should shoot up a school. Your opportune weapon's not going to be a 12 gauge. You know what I mean?
I have a question. Do you think, like, I know most school shooters, they're like troubled students. So, do you think that could be like on par with like maybe the school not really helping them with their problems?
Well, we talked about this earlier, but mental health is the main issue in these things, not gun control. Mental health is what needs to be addressed first. You see, whenever a school gets shot up, there's always one type of debate. It's either mental health or gun control, but I think gun control is the main issue. Like or not gun control. Sorry, mental health's the main issue. You know what I mean? Like mental health should be the focus because these kids aren't going to shoot up a school even if they have a gun in their house if they don't have mental health issues.
like for example, the kid, the guy who shot up in Florida who killed 17, he didn't even he left. He tried to leave the school in the crowd after shooting up. He even pulled the fire alarm to get as much casualties as possible, which is.
Well, you see, the thing is apparently he got an Uber, but how do you conceal an Uber like an AR-15 in a backpack?
Exactly.
Like, or how do you even? I mean, even if he did have a backpack, like, what do you carry like a duffel bag to school? Because like that's a little suspicious unless you're on the sports team. Carrying a duffel bag around. If you like like you know.
He did used to go to the school, so.
I know, but like you wouldn't expect somebody to come back to the school unless they do it often. You know what I mean? And if they were like,
there should be security there. Like, who would not question him just walking back into campus?
well, I mean, first off, he posted YouTube videos saying he was a. Yeah, but first off, he posted videos saying like that he was going to shoot up a school. So I mean, like, if that wasn't looked into, then by somebody at the school, then there were some issues with the school administration. I'm not saying they should monitor kids, but like if that's tipped off to the FBI, the FBI should tip it off to the the FBI should tell the school. You know what I mean? Like the school should know that they have a possible school shooter, and then he should intervene. The school should really intervene.
Yeah, some students actually should be monitored, like just like.
I don't like the idea of monitoring because that takes away some personal freedom. But like I just like if the FBI is tipped off to one of these things, then they should be like the FBI should tell the school, hey, this kid should probably not be allowed on campus, or should be like talk to, intervened with. Like, you should call his parents, and if his parents don't have contact with him, then you should assume the worst. If there's no way that they can get contact with him, then you just don't let him on campus. If his parents and the school can't get contact with him, then he should not be allowed on campus. You know what I mean? Especially if he's been tipped off to the FBI and was on a watch list. You know what I mean? Which this kid was.
Which is like oddly strange, to be honest.
You can't be on a watch list and then be let back into the school. That's just stupid. You know what I mean?
No, exactly.
Yeah, what do you think, Hobo, with that issue? Do you think any of those things would work, or should be implemented?
I mean, I'm just interjecting, but like I don't know if you guys did talked about this already, but did you guys talk about like teachers considering like?
No, we haven't gotten a teacher with the firearms because me and Hobo are both like generally on the same side of most of these things. So I was waiting on somebody with like a little more liberal view to get on. By the way, Mir will be gone for the entire weekend. He's going over to his cousin's house. Not the one in South Africa that humped him. Not that one, the other one. Or one of the other ones.
Yeah, he told me. He told me like a month. I think a month ago.
No, there was a big discussion about that last night. Because he told the story to like everybody last night.
We were all proud of him.
Oh God, we only have 13 minutes left in this debate. Jesus Christ! All right, well then let's get into the topic of should teachers have guns?
No.
I personally don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Because teachers could also be mentally unstable. Yeah, well,
not only that,
like some self-defense weapon.
Teachers can also be mentally unstable. That's the main issue with me personally. Is like, I've seen teachers freak out over like minor things and like start yelling at the entire class because somebody didn't put a comma in their work because they've been built up with anger for like a week.
You have to think about this. If there even is a school shooter, they're probably gonna see like they're gonna have like training processes, so that like the suspected person could easily just watch and see what's gonna happen and take action based off of that. So, and how about if a kid gets access to, say, weapon? What will happen then? You have to think about it.
Well, I mean, you never know when he's actually planning on doing anything because the kid, like, do you mean like the weapon at the school? Like, say the teacher are granted weapons, then he gets access to the ones at the school.
Yeah, like the one the teacher has access to.
Oh, okay. So the school shooter gets access to. Yeah, well, that's another big concern. Is, I mean, even if you have a locked drawer, it can like locks can be picked. I don't know about you guys, but that's been common knowledge for me for about like 7 years.
Yeah, that's why I said something like kind of lethal.
Yeah, I mean, but pepper spray could be used as, if you could pepper spray somebody's eyes, then gouge their eyes out.
Yeah.
And get, I mean, it's not that hard to use pepper spray as an actual lethal weapon. I mean, you're not using the pepper spray itself as a lethal weapon, but you're using it as a tool to kill help kill the person. Which even in that situation is you know, that it can happen. It's nothing like foreign. You know what I mean? It's like people, there are recorded incidents of these things happening. Like they pepper spray somebody and then you hit them up the side of the head. They're done.
So then we've come to the conclusion of teachers really shouldn't have a self-defense weapon. What about schools having better security?
I think schools should invest in better security, but they should also keep it to, you know, they shouldn't make it public that they have better security. Like I saw one local school on the news in my state that was like, oh yeah, we got these smoke systems that disorientate these, and then the doors lock. It's like, well, now you're just giving them clues about how your school works. You know what I mean? If they block off the doors, which are supposedly like self-lockable, and that in a situation they can like remotely lock them. Well, they're just going to get the person who remotely locks them, shoot them in the face, and then start shooting up the school.
No, but like, should schools have gates and like wire fences or some type of like gating?
Well, first off, you don't want to make the kids feel like they're in a prison. Then they'll start protesting the exact issue that they feel like they can't, you know, just walk out of the school without, you know, being like harassed over it. Because personal freedom over me comes over security. Like I like security. Don't get me wrong. Security is a big thing for me, but at the same time, I also don't want to be indoctrinated into a society where I can't do anything with my own personal time. Can't use a gun. Can't, you know, walk around freely without, you know, or like, you know what I mean? Like if you have to break up like groups in schools while they're walking in between class periods, it's just weird. It's just wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Kids generally tend to walk in groups, but like if you get to the point where your security's that good, or that strict, I don't think that should be a thing. Like, yeah, I think schools should have better surveillance systems, but as long as they're not, you know, intruding on the bathrooms and like classrooms and things like that. Because in my state, it's illegal to put surveillance cameras in A, classrooms, and B, bathrooms. Which all states it's legal for bathrooms, but I don't know about classrooms for many states. But in my state, I know it's legal. Because, you know, in a classroom is, you know, like, you know, teaching area. You know what I mean? You don't expect a surveillance camera to be staring at you while you're learning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Makes it uncomfortable. That's why they usually keep in the hallway and the entrances.
Well, we could have physical, like, security.
Yeah, I mean, I think having like one or more resource officers on the scene, A, will help with like general fights, like breaking up fights, and B can just be better for like general.
Just have people walking around campus and seeing if people are not in classrooms or entering the school.
Well,
when
my school has a big issue with skipping, so that's why we actually have those things. Like, we don't worry about people coming in usually. It's more worry about people skipping class. So there'd be people standing outside the doors for like 2 minutes after the bell ring, just to see if kids walk out of the classroom.
coming onto campus and like
Yeah, but
maybe
yeah.
maybe the whoever's walking around checks their student ID if they have one.
You see, my school lacks on ID for control, but we have one main thing, which is we have two entrances to the school, like two gateways, and one of them is closed off at all times during the school day, and the other one is manned by a guard post that has a gate, like those basically like one of those traffic gates that closes and opens. It also has a speed bump.
Yeah, ours has 3 exits, and at each exit there's a person. Because our school has student IDs, so they check student IDs when you're going out of the school and when you're coming back in.
No, our bus drivers will sometimes check in with our IDs to make sure that we have them. Like they'll give us a 1 day notice, like, hey, if you don't have your ID tomorrow, then I'm not gonna let you on the bus. Which usually for me is like just me trying to run for my ID as soon as I get home and just trying to find it, because I never wear my ID. Although for me it's not that big of an issue because people know who I am. You know what I mean? At my school, I stand out quite a bit because my race mostly. I don't know if I've told you this, but I go to my school's like 95% black or something. So, which is, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But everyone knows who I am. Everyone knows what I'm like. You know what I mean? I talk to security guards about. I've even talked to some of the security guards about things like this. You know what I mean? Like the school shooting issues. Like, what is your security protocol? Which is a weird question to ask, but it's good to know. Like, what do we do when the school shooting happens? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what would we do? I mean, like I said, it's like. Until like today, I thought, hey, this isn't that big of a issue for my school. Like. But no, then this thing happened in Michigan. Yeah, now it's just weird. Now you don't know who could do what.
You don't know who you can really trust. It could be really anyone.
I mean, this kid doesn't even look like like he would be a depressed person. The one that shot up the school in Michigan today, shot up the university in Michigan.
Exactly.
He killed 2 people in the dorms, which I'm pretty sure it's probably just gonna turn out to be a revenge thing. Like he wasn't like wanting to shoot up the entire school. He was either paid to shoot these 2 guys by somebody who was angry at them, or it's like a revenge thing. Like, oh, these 2 bullied me my entire years here. Let's just shoot these 2 guys.
And which is also like a problem, which causes a lot of people to spark out and become one of these suspected people who actually caused this much harm within schools. Bullying.
Yeah, bullying's a big issue, but also like if you just address bullying shouldn't be an issue. Like, people are getting so soft these days. Like my parents were like, oh yeah, I was bullied, but you know what I did? I just stood up and said, well, I don't care what you say.
Well, but
like, you know what I mean?
Some of these people were physically and like mentally abused, which is really hard to like.
Yeah, I know I understand that it should be addressed, but at the same time, we should also address people's like way of dealing with things. These students shouldn't be taught to be snowflakes. You know what I mean? These students should be taught like, oh, you need to treat people the way you should be treated. No, you got to deal with whatever somebody calls you stupid, because I think maybe I am stupid. Maybe I did something stupid. Maybe I shouldn't be acting like a snowflake over it. You know what I mean?
I mean, but what happens when it comes to the case where they have physical strength or attribute over you? What can you really do in that situation?
Well, I mean, a lot of times the way bullies feed off you is because you get a reaction. Just don't react to it. Don't get angry at them. Just be like, okay. That's why nobody's ever said. I'm a fat person. I've gotten bullied in the past. Whenever I reacted, it made it worse. If I just sat there and went, okay, I don't really care, then you know what they did? Absolutely nothing afterwards.
Oh, but what's your intake?
It's because they want attention. It's the entire point. But what do you think about this kind of stuff?
I mean, yeah. Like, you gotta stand up for yourself, too.
I'm like,
I mean, I know it's hard.
I'm not saying punch people in the face. Like, don't get yourself suspended while doing this. But okay, I'm sorry I interrupted you, but you can continue. Cares about how you feel regardless of what age you're in. Like, I don't care how my friend about what my friend has to say. Sometimes it's like,
I know, but like in some cases of bullying, people don't really care if you don't give them a reaction or not. They're still gonna proceed to do what they wanted to do.
yeah, well, that's what the staff of the school's there for, personally. But you know,
Agreeable.
I mean, like,
And we should also do something about the bully.
yeah.
Because why are they bullying?
Well, usually people that bully have been bullied themselves, and that's why they resulted to it. Usually it's a parental thing. It's not.
So we should help the bully.
Usually you should.
Bullied.
Yeah, but usually it's addressing parenting issues, because if somebody beats their child every day, you know what their child's going to do to the kids at school? Beat up the kids at school. And I mean that's generally how white kids react to it. At my school, it's more like, hey, my family like you know, it's like if you beat them for no reason, then they're gonna beat up kids, try to beat kids. You know what I mean? They're gonna react to other kids with violence. But if you beat them out of reaction, then that's different. Like if they stole something and you beat their kids, that's fine. You know what I mean?
Yep.
If you whoop your kids for stealing something, who cares? If you whoop your kids for no reason, it's like you get drunk and you beat your kids, then yeah, they're gonna be scared, because like if a kid steals something and then gets beaten for it, he's expecting that. You know what I mean? Like, he's not gonna be afraid of it. I mean, he might not like it, but he's not gonna be fearful of his life when he gets back home the next day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you drunkenly beat your child to the point where he goes to school with bruises, that's different. Like, you don't beat your kid to the point where he's like made fun of it at school for it. You know what I mean? There's an extent which you can go to, but some parents take it way too far. Some parents don't take it far enough, and then you get brat kids, like kids that are just like think they rule the world, and they're also sometimes snowflakes. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you called me stupid? Oh, I gotta cry about it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't cry about somebody calling you stupid. That's just real life. You know what I mean? Especially if you were acting stupid, then you don't. Then people, you know. You should be like you should expect to be called stupid if you say something stupid. You know what I mean? Say or do something stupid. There's nothing wrong with being called stupid for that. You know what I mean? Like say I said, oh, I don't. But I don't even know where I'm going with this at this point. But you know what I mean, Hubba? Inverted.
Yes.
So, but you get what I mean? Like, kids shouldn't be snowflaked or like overdone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sometimes, like, I'm not saying all kids, but some or most of the kids, they feel entitled to, like, having their feelings upheld, but that really doesn't happen.
If you get like so worked up over minor things, like somebody calling you stupid, and then you think that only your feelings matter, I don't give other people won't care about how you feel. I don't care how other people feel half the time. I don't generally think my feelings are above everybody else's, but I'm not trying to fix your feelings because your girlfriend broke up with you. Who cares? Get over it. You know what I mean? Just because something happened to you doesn't mean you have to be a douche to everyone else for the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Put on an okay face. I don't care if it's a good looking face. I don't care if it's a happy face. Just go on with your day, and don't get butthurt about about somebody calling your argument stupid. If your argument's stupid, your argument is stupid. If you lose a debate, then you lose a debate. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's just kids. Some kids aren't raised right. Like I saw this toddler who got angry because his mom wouldn't buy him something. I'm like, if that was my kid, I would smack it. Like just like, You know what I mean? Like if my kid was screaming if my kid was screaming like a banshee, I would just slowly pimp slap him across the face. Like not hard enough to where it would like hurt him physically, just enough to give him like I'm done with you kind of look, like, you know what I mean?
So what you're trying to say is that you would try to correct them, that and tell them that their behavior is inappropriate.
Yeah, what should be done with all kids, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
They're whining about that they can't get something.
If a kid gets everything that he wants, or she wants, because it goes both ways, they're gonna grow up to think everything is theirs. And even if like, everything isn't theirs. Like if I'm not gonna buy $700 worth of gifts for my child at Christmas, even if I am rich. You know what I mean? You keep it chill. You keep it cool. You know what I mean? If you give your child too much, then they're not gonna act right. They're gonna be spoiled. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
So
like I live in a house where the most I've gotten for Christmas is about like from my parents is about $70. It was about, no, actually no, I take that back. It was $120, but that was one year where we were doing really good. But that was like that's them saving up for 2 months, or for like 2-3 months before that. And my mom makes.
So, let's get back on topic here.
Well, I mean, this sort of is on topic because, like I said, a lot of the way people are treated is what how they deal with bullying, or a lot of people way people are raised is. But what was your thought, or like what did you want to jump back into? Hello. Oh, just spilled water on myself. Hello, what did you want to jump back into? Hello.
Forgot what we were talking about.
School, Florida. School shootings.
Yeah.
Alright, but what part of that do we back into? Because I don't want to get trailed off again. Like, cause we've covered mental health, we've covered why, like, what the security guards and the FBI should have done correctly. And to be honest with you, in about 3 minutes, I think we're gonna wrap this up because I think this debate's gone.
I think we already addressed like all the major.
I mean, me and Hobo did before you got here, but
Small topics that we want to finish off before.
we could talk about the Italian election before we hop off. Because right now there's a big issue with the Italian migrant crisis from Africa and the Middle East, and in general Europe is being mismanaged because too many, which is a big thing because the EU is highly present in Italy, and Italy doesn't get any of the decision making things in the EU. They don't get any of the and they don't get any of the decisions made in the EU for them in their favor. They don't get to have much of a say in it because Germany France are the main two nations, because it's Merkel and her side bitch, whatever his name is, Monfredo or Monfredo, whatever the French president's name is. But what's your opinion on how this election is gonna turn out? Because right now they're either expecting the Social Democrats in Italy to win or the Five Star Movement.
If the right-wing
/ conservative alliance
person wins, what are his or her goals?
His goals were, I think, to turn around the way the way the Italy deals with the EU, because Italy's been soft on the EU for a while. They've been agreeing to whatever the EU says. They've been EU centric. They've been Europe centric. So they've been all like, "Oh, Europe is the best thing ever." But personally, now they're going to switch it to, "Oh, we got to be tougher on the EU," which is what Britain was doing most of their time in the EU. And also, British negotiations for the EU are not expected to go that well because Theresa May is a cook of a conservative. And she's barely even conservative at that, and she's very weak-minded, and like whenever she said whenever she was in an interview, the reporter asked, "What's the naughtiest thing you've ever done?" You know what her response was? "Oh, I used to frolic in a farmer's like wheat field." I'm like, what? First off, like most reporters would be like, "Oh, in college I smoked marijuana once." You know what I mean? Like that would be most people's like things, but not like I was 5 and I frolicked in a wheat field, which I wasn't supposed to be on. I'm like, God. But yeah, the EU is a mess right now. But alright, guys, I think we're gonna wrap this up because my throat's killing me. I need to get drinks, and
Alright.
I think we should play a game now instead of talking about this stuff. So bye, everybody. We'll be back. We'll be back either tomorrow or next Friday.